Man, oh man, are we loaded today. Chris Christie. This guy is just doing everything right. He wants to privatize the DMV. He wants to privatize auto inspections in New Jersey. He wants to take all these union jobs out of the state and put them in the private sector. He says New Jersey could save at least $210 million a year by delivering an array of services through private hands. If he gets his way, New Jersey will close its centralized car inspection lanes. Motorists would pay for their own emissions tests. Under a sweeping set of recommendations set to be released today, state parks, psychiatric hospitals, even turnpike toll booths could be run by private operators. And I guarantee you, if all this happens, they're all going to be more efficient. Everything's going to happen, and it's going to happen on time, as scheduled, and by friendly people. Do you believe this? Obama administration has to go out and make a statement they are pro-business. If you have to go out and make a statement you're pro-business, there must be some question about it. And we've documented for you all these private sector titans, from Mort Zuckerman to the Ferguson professor at Harvard. Now John Malone of Liberty Media has chimed in, I think, of moving his company out of Colorado. Giant communications company because of corporate taxes. I mean, it is pervasive. It's spreading everywhere. And here's the regimes that, no, we're pro-business. Can you imagine? First time in American history, an American president has had to call a press conference and do a public appearance to assure people that he is pro-business. Stop and think of that. White Castle, a hamburger chain, says insurance reform will bite into their profits big time. It'll eat up roughly 55% of its yearly net income after 2014. So again, another private sector industry sounding the warning about Obamacare. Do you have a federal appeals court? Rare good news here, folks. Federal appeals court has rejected the regime's effort to keep a 6-month deep-water drilling moratorium in place. A 3-judge panel of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled soon after a Thursday afternoon hearing in a lawsuit filed by companies that opposed the drilling ban. The Interior Department of the regime said the moratorium was necessary while it studied deep-water drilling risks in the wake of the BP oil spill, putting who knows how many hundreds, maybe thousands of people out of work. And a regime out there saying they're pro-business. So the regime's been had its head handed to them twice now. A federal judge and an appellate court has rejected Obama's bid to keep his drilling moratorium. Will this stop Obama? That's the question. And I'm being quite serious. This is a regime and an administration that has demonstrated countless times its cavalier attitude toward law and the Constitution. And we'll just see what the regime tries to do in response to this. Wall Street Journal has a piece today on this entitled "The White House Gets Drilled." How ideologically stacked is Obama's offshore drilling commission? So much that even many of his fellow Democrats cannot support it. 5 Democrats on the Senate Energy Committee last week delivered an embarrassing rebuke to the regime, voting with Republicans to have Congress set up an independent commission to investigate the BP disaster, bypassing the president's appointees offered by Wyoming Republican John Barrasso. To broader oil spill legislation, the amendment that passed the committee on a 50-8 vote charges the Democratic and Republican leaderships with naming a 10-person commission. It emphasizes appointees should have technical expertise in offshore oil exploration, health and safety, and environmental protection. Mr. Obama gets to name only the chairman. Now listen to this. By contrast, Obama's 7-member commission contains not a single expert on drilling or petroleum engineering and is instead loaded with such anti-oil and anti-drilling activists as the Natural Resources Defense Council president, Francis Beinecke, and former Florida Senator Bob Grimm. It's like putting somebody from the Sierra Club with nothing more than a liberal activist group Same thing with the Natural Resources Defense Council. It's no different than a left-wing version. They're global warming hoaxers. I don't know how to describe them. These are the people who wanted to ban your SUVs. They're like the Sierra Club. And these are the people Obama put on his commission. They don't have one thing good to say about oil or drilling, and they don't know anything about it. Mary Landrieu, senator from Louisiana, said, "I would suggest to my Democrat friends that if the shoe were on the other foot and President Bush was the president, and he had submitted a list of names like this to us and everyone was related to the defense of oil companies, we'd say this isn't fair. And I'm saying to my colleagues, this isn't fair." She was joined by Democrats Tim Johnson of South Dakota, Blanche Lincoln of Arkansas, Jean Shaheen of New Hampshire, and Mark Udall of Colorado. All who said, there's no way we're going to have people like this from the Natural Resources Defense Council on a commission to investigate drilling in the Gulf. It would be like putting Colonel Sanders on a commission to save the lives of chickens. And the Democrats are even opposing Obama on this. Obama's out there right now talking about the economy. The economy is growing. Oh, yeah. We care about big business. We want big business. We want private sector business to work. You have to go out and say this. There might be some question about it. Here's a quote from the Wall Street Journal piece. Having had this drilling moratorium declared illegal by a federal judge, and now his drilling commission rebuked by Democrats, Mr. Obama might want to liberate himself from Carol Browner and other anti-drilling White House advisors before they cause him even greater political damage. Carol Browner, EPA, also in the Clinton-Gore administration, and she's a full-fledged, total wacko, leftist, environmentalist nutcase. And here's where this breaks down. Well, once again here, Obama might want to liberate himself from Carol Browner. Carol Browner is Obama. Obama's not sitting there minding his own business, shooting hoops, trading spies, and letting underlings decide who's going to be on his commission. Barack Obama is as anti-oil company as Carol Browner is. Barack Obama is as anti-drilling as Carol Browner is. People are going to have to understand Carol Browner and people like her did not sneak by anybody into this administration. They were sought out. They were summoned because they are rubber stamps for Obama. So once again, Obama's portrayed as an innocent bystander. He's trying to do what's right, but he's got some bad advice out there. Some wacko leftists ended up on his commission. Now, that may be the way they want to position it. Poor old Bam getting sabotaged by his own team. But it's Obama who's sabotaging himself. He is who he is. That's the whole point of all this. Obama does not like private sector businesses. It's obvious. Obama has a problem with helping people find work in the private sector. It's obvious. So I reject the notion that he's sitting around minding his own business and these wacko leftists are somehow sneaking by and getting positions of influence in his administration.